Welcome to CEO Interviews, a production of Gorecom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about what's updated at their companies. This is our Thanksgiving edition because it's right before the long weekend in Canada. With us, you can see him on the screen, AP Silverstein, President and CEO of ImagineAR, trades in Canada IP for friends of the US under IPNFF. For those new to the story, as the name implies, the company's Augmented Reality Company that is blowing the doors off in its ability to enable business to create their own mobile phone AR campaigns with no programming or technology. Before we get to their success, let's also back up this industry and what's going to be happening here. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, September 26th, said this just 10 days ago. In the future, people will wonder how we live without augmented reality. Powerful statement. Now, is AP and the Imagine team just talking the talk? No, they're walking the walk. They're commercializing. Corporate clients include the likes of Shoppers Drug Mart, McCormick. They've done a deal with Grubhub for the Megan Thee Stallion concert that blew all expectations. In the sports world, they're dominating. Valencia, Real Sociedad, two of the biggest soccer teams in Spain. Club Atletico, championship team out of Brazil. Ronaldinho, one of the best players in the world. The Baltimore Ravens, and I can go on for another 60 seconds, but I'm not going to do it because if those don't prove it to you, nothing will. AP, welcome back, my friend.
Absolutely. And thank you, George, for spending time and spending Thanksgiving with me here up in Canada. And I figure we've been quiet for a while, more on the execution, some other things we've been working on, but certainly I appreciate, you giving a call and saying, let's do a quick update for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I want to, because I got nothing better to do, right? Hey, so before there's a couple of big pieces of news they put up, but before that, what do you make of this Tim Cook statement? I mean, he doesn't have to say anything like that. He's not running an AR company per se, and he's telling us we're going to wonder how we live without it. Man, what do you make of that?
Tim Cook has been a big proponent of AR for quite a while, and it's pretty well known for people in the industry. We've seen it over and over again, the quotes, but certainly now coming out with it, I think he's shooting, they always say the fire over the bow from Meta and Facebook, and saying it's not going to be the headsets. It's going to be mobile phones and out in the world in AR. And that's where it's going to happen. And that's going to be really the home of the future. And also, he actually is very much against using the word metaverse because he said no one knows what metaverse is. If you ask the average person in the street, what's a metaverse? So AR is something they've been very big on. They're making a big drive into it. Obviously, we integrate with Apple iOS. We support Apple natively. We've been around Apple as well as, Android. So him coming out just reinforces what we believe. And this has been a track, right? We've been doing this since 2018. It's 2022. Even though everyone keeps hearing about it, we're still just on the precipice, right? We're right on crossing the chasm as we are, as we're about to launch, hopefully very soon in the month of October with the Baltimore Ravens as well.
Oh, and the CEO of the richest tech company on the planet says we're investing heavily and we're going to wonder how we ever live without this. That's got to make conversations a whole lot easier when you're talking to George Com or other sports teams or whatever the case may
be. Yeah, it's a good first slide to put on the screen as well. And also, I don't know, but Disney put out their first AR TV show movie. Where on Disney Plus now, they are putting their own immersive experiences. So you actually use a Disney app and point it at the screen. And there's 3 locations during the movie that it comes to life with a waterfall and other things. So Disney's made a full commitment to it, which is, again, this all helps everyone being educated about it and understanding it, and only helps us as we go in the market. Certainly Tim Cook, once again, saying it out loud in the last, 2 weeks, significant and important, but at the same time, we're excited about some of the programs we'll be rolling out in the very near future as well.
He's making a believer out of me, or he's making an honest man out of me, because I made some pretty big calls about ImagineAR, but it was right before COVID when I said that AR was going to really explode in the next year and a half. Unfortunately, AR requires the real world, and the real world kind of went away during COVID. But now it seems like, now AR is back out and it's come with a vengeance. On that note, big announcement. Bill Priakos, former president of merchandising for the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, I love you for that, AP.
Yeah,
joins as an advisor to you to grow your sports and retail business. How did this happen? And what do you expect Mr. Priakos is going to be doing for Imagine?
Well, Bill came through another one of our trusted advisors and network relationship of someone we have a tremendous amount of respect for. Bill had been retired and enjoying his life. And I don't know if he was looking for a new potential project, but certainly we demonstrated what we do with our platform and some of the opportunities. He got excited right away and said, this is an opportunity to drive merch sales and for teams and organizations to use those micro moments, those great moments in sports that you could dynamically create a fan engagement opportunity and drive a merchandise sale or sponsorship opportunity. So Bill got really excited and said, I'm aboard. And certainly someone who spent 20 years with the Cowboys, working with Jerry Jones hand in hand and the full team there. And I don't know how big the Dallas, Cowboys merchandise business is. I think it's hundred millions
Yeah,
plus
that's
on an
easy.
annual
That's
basis.
that's an easy estimate. Yeah.
And he's the person behind it. So now we talk pretty regularly. And I think, he certainly has a tremendous network of relationships and access that we're excited about to have someone at his level in the merchandise area, which is more, unique than just fan engagement and doing in stadium kind of experiences or TV second screen, but actually taking merchandise and bringing it to life where they are. So we're loving that he's here. He's already opening up his network of relationships. And we're excited to continue working with him. And he's as excited as we are right now to continue his next career in the world of AR and sports.
And you actually, in your quote, you say, I'm quoting, Bill Priakos is an icon in sports merchandising, considered a thought leader by many sports organizations around the world. So let's drive that point home, because I want everyone at home watching this or listening on Spotify to really understand this isn't George Cholas, becoming an advisor to CEO. This is someone who's, and two things I gleaned from that. He had that job for more than a decade, or I don't know how long it was. So you can almost say potentially he's an old school guy, understanding though what the power of AR is in the sports world. So how big of a guy is Bill, and
Well,
by
again,
the
we
by the
can't get ahead
introductions
of
he's
ourselves.
making to you guys.
Yeah, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We're not here to promote, but certainly he has a lot of relationships, not only in North America, but overseas as well, which is exciting at an extraordinarily high levels. And he's opening up some real good sales opportunities and funnel opportunities for us to pursue together. And certainly having him walk you in the door makes a significant difference versus potentially, myself walking in and trying to get
Yeah,
to these
sure.
types of worldwide, world famous sports organizations. So again, a great addition, certainly.
And by the way, I have to say it, when I see things like that, look, serious people who have had great success in their lives don't join organizations without doing due diligence, without really wanting to associate their name. So how big of a feather in the cap is it of Imagine to have that kind of, that kind of almost respect shown to it by someone like
Oh,
Priakos?
for sure, for sure. And certainly at this stage of his career, where not looking for the next project, but have him come in and join at his level, very, very exciting. And certainly we have some other top advisors, but certainly Bill is really high up there as what he's accomplished and coming at this stage and seeing what's going on in the market and wanting to join forces and really open up his network of relationships, his experience of areas we should be looking at together, and then partner it together with AR as a solution. So, and pretty exciting. And he came in putting his cap on the line, saying, I'm going to come in under a stock option agreement and let's get going, because I want to be part of the company and its growth in the
Awesome.
future. And he's counting purely on the growth of the stock.
Okay, that's put his money where his mouth is on both the sides.
Absolutely.
So looking forward to seeing the future, what that brings. Next, staying with the NFL theme, last time we spoke, you had signed your first NFL team, because you're dominating global soccer. So you signed your first NFL team, the Ravens, to a 2-year agreement. The season is now started. Where are we at with launching with the Ravens?
Yeah, we're a bit frustrated as well. And I think the Ravens would say the same, because again, we provided the SDK. We've been talking to them since actually, last winter almost. It's been quite a while to get it, but we're dependent on their mobile app developer who had a lot of priorities along the way. We had expected to kick off in September, actually in the first home game,
Sure.
but there've been delays, again, not from our side, but that happens with different priorities. And that mobile app developer works with 200 plus sports teams around the world, including many in the NFL and the NBA. So I'm sure they had other top priorities, but it looks pretty good that we're fingers crossed we'll have a launch in October. potentially at a home game for the Ravens. So stay tuned. I'm sure there'll be a big press announcement when it comes to it from the Ravens side. We'll certainly be aboard on that. I kind of know what the program is, so can't let it out of the bag at this point, but we're excited as a initial demonstration capabilities fully integrated with the Ravens app. And I think there's a lot of eyes that are going to be on this as well. When we
I was
did
about to
make the
ask that. Would it be
announcement,
fair to say that other sports teams have
yeah,
seen
there's
the
a
announcement and they're saying, "Good, let's see what this thing is."
exactly. And certainly that helped with Bill when he knew we signed the Ravens because he had a
Right.
familiarity with their organization. So that added a lot of credibility. But I feel pretty optimistic that once it launches, there's going to be not only interest, but there'll certainly be some opportunities of significance for the company continuing in the world of sports, in leagues as well. Once we get that one up and running so people could see it, fans can understand it, other sports executives from other teams and leagues are going to take a look at it. So it'll probably be one of our most watched launches we've ever done, certainly more than most, although the Raldadino app, which you're aware of, really reverberate around the world significantly. So that's also helped us get out there and get the attention of a lot of new sports teams as well as brands.
It's amazing. By the way, I'm going to throw in a little something. It's amazing how 2.5 years ago you had some naysayer saying, "Ah, so you got installed with the Erie Otters." Sorry if I don't remember their name. The Erie Otters and the Athens Athenians. Who cares? And back then, you said to everybody, you said, "Hey guys, you can't start at the top. It doesn't work that way. You start off with these minor league teams in tiny towns who kind of prove the technology." And what I love is the Frogger that's going on now. You got the Ravens because you got the soccer teams, and then you got Priakos, I think, that probably helped to get because of the Ravens. So it seems like that Frogger is now accelerating. I can't wait to see when it goes live because I've got to think that's my own 2 cents. A lot of sports teams are gonna be watching, and if they like it, hopefully they're gonna
Yeah,
follow.
certainly their mobile app developer has quite a big portfolio of teams, but also we're frustrated. I know stockholders always want news and what's this and and certainly we get to the same point. There's a lot going on. And certainly when you deal with larger organizations, as you know, and a lot of people understand from a lot of companies you work with, it just expands the decision time frame, the amount of people involved, and ultimately getting to launch. Even when we did McCormick's, through gray advertising, that took 6-7 months as well. So it's frustrating, but at the same time, we're excited. I think we're in the home stretch when it comes to launching the Ravens in October. Fingers crossed. We know from our side what the content's going to be. We're involved with it. So at this point, it's a matter of just getting it finalized, Q&A testing, and then ready to launch more than likely, during a home game down in Baltimore.
But there will come a point when you've signed on so many teams and so many big tier one organizations that sales cycle is going to shrink back to this. Right now, you're no longer relatively unknown. Now it's like you're known, but these people said,
Right.
Once you get to that magic number, I don't know what that is, 10 sports teams or whatever, it's going to be a case of, hey, AP, come on in. Let's talk about what we can do.
If
And
it's
I
your,
think
your
they're going to
lips
move
to
a lot
God's
faster.
ears, I'd love that to happen.
That's
I think
business. That's business.
we're also
101.
doing, again, this is the mobile app developers' first integration. Once the integration is done by them,
Right.
this is the first, then it's cookie cutter. It's getting the first one done, understanding our code base, the integration. We actually did a new SDK release. We didn't make a big announcement of it, but we had a new update with lots of new features, some other additional functions that came out, which we provided them as well. So we gave them the upgraded SDK as well. So once they get that set and it's done, because their mobile apps are pretty much all following a certain form, our ability to plug into any additional team that's listed on the InScam website that we could potentially sell to a market to, their turnaround time is going to be obviously significantly faster because it's already built, designed, and integrated. And it's a matter of plug and play, get the assets in, and we're ready to launch. So you're right. It will pick up steam.
Hip hop, big part of the NFL. We've got this deal with the Hip Hop Hall of Fame. Where are you at with that?
So the hip hop was a good one because it's a white label deal. It's not doing the SDK. We're creating the whole mobile app. We're actually working already on the app in terms of design, logo, layout, menu choices. We're starting to create their assets because we're creating a virtual museum for them. So we're actually creating their character set as well in 3D, as well as the ability to take some of their assets from their museum that we have access to now and to create these 3D and AR activations. We're hoping towards the end of this year, it could be potentially right into early next year, but we're pretty excited that it's a whole new area and they're coming back, I believe, with the Hip Hop Awards in the Hall of Fame next year, which would be broadcast on TV. So there's an expectation we'll be involved in that in a big way with them with the app. We're creating assets and bringing it all into the mobile app as well. So it's funny, you go from, when we do development meetings, you go from the Ravens, then you got the hip hop, then you got the Raldino group over here, and you kind of keep jumping around. As a matter of fact, another thing we haven't announced, it's coming out. And again, they're a client already, is Real Sociedad. We're going to have a launch with them. They're actually going to do a whole new launch with us as well, involving 3D and involving their app and integration with the new SDK as well. So we're hoping that happens in the very near term as well. We've done a lot of new content for them, which is pretty cool stuff beyond just a hologram, actually, too, using some real 3D interactive AR experiences. And we expect that hopefully to be coming out in the very near future, too.
All right, so I'll save questions for that when that press release comes out. But hey, it's great when you have your customers so happy that they want to keep doing more.
Yes.
That's another great sign of the technology, right? The business model, the tech. When you got a big club like Real Sociedad who says, "Hey, let's upgrade to even more," that's a great sign.
Right, and we have one more, that one other team, SD Ponferradina. I can't pronounce it that well, but they're actually working with ImagineAR and our app. So they're actually making a big push with us as well. They're a La Liga B team, but they're making now a big push to use our app, not only for the museum, they've just shot video with the holograms, with their players, and then they want to do 3D as well. So they've jumped aboard as well. And they've actually had an article written about them in La Liga's publication for all the other teams recently as well. So they've been helping promote us out there. The whole thing's in Spanish, not that I can read it, but
so
I can see
close.
the
It's
ImagineAR.
just so close. I'm telling you,
It's
I
that
know it. I
crossing
made the
the
call back.
chasm.
I made the call back before COVID. I said by the end of 2021, ImagineAR is going to be dominating AR in the sports world. Then we know what happened. But now that that's out of the way, I'm telling you, by the end of 2023, right? It's in my call. By the way, guys, this is my call, and I'm not talking about the stock. I'm just saying from a pure market expansion point of view, unless something drastic goes wrong by the end of 2023, ImagineAR is going to be dominating the sports world. That's my call. We'll hold it to it for 15 months from now. Last question. Q4. We're in Q4. We just started October, essentially. We're in the first week. What does the rest of the year hold? Because it sounds like your pipeline's filling. Sounds like things are going great from an operation point of view. What's the what should we look out for?
I think you're going to see, obviously, the Ravens goes live. That's going to have some positive effect on the company. I think it's going to have some positive effect in new client opportunities that are going to move relatively quickly as well, because I think that's a stake in the ground to prove out that it works, integrated with the mobile app, with that developer, and also works on a major scale. Certainly in an NFL home game would be a great proving model. There are other opportunities we are pursuing as well that we've been in discussions with, which I can't get into detail with, but I think you're going to see real movement in the world of sports continue, both in teams, in venues, and other related entertainment areas as well. So
I like the sound of that.
Fingers crossed. Obviously, we can't disclose or discuss anything. We are as frustrated. I know, stockholders reach out. It's like, oh, we need announcements. Oh, I assure you, we're as frustrated, and we want things to move faster, as you know, George, than anyone. There isn't any CEO who doesn't want to deal faster, announce it, done and out there. But again, when you get to significantly larger organizations, which finally we've moved up to the point where the decision-making process is not done by me walking in the door of the president of the Erie Bayhawks and shaking his hand and doing a deal on the spot, within 10 minutes, where there's a lot of hands in it. There's vendor approval, there's vendor review of who we are and everything else and references. So again, we're looking for a lot of positive to come out of it. It seems like sports will continue to be an area that we're going to be heavily involved, but I'm kind of anticipating some breakout beyond just the sports, but potentially in the entertainment world, not only here in North America, but around the globe.
I'm going to repeat what I said earlier as far as once we get to a magic number, I don't know if that's going to be 10 big names, a dozen, all that's going to shrink because two things are going to happen. Validation is going to be unequivocal. So people are just going to say, get on in here. Let's just focus on deal terms. That's all they're going to focus on. Yeah. And the second thing that's going to happen is once the integrators, like for the Ravens, all these guys have gone through their first integrations, and then, everyone knows how to do it, that's going to shrink as well. So for all of us, including me, who want to see more news more rapid, I think at some point in 2023, we're going to start seeing that happening. Because Microsoft doesn't have to go out there and audition for anybody where it's like, hey, coming in, what are your terms? What do we do? Sign a deal, you're out the door. That's it, my man. That's our Thanksgiving long weekend edition of ImagineAR. Thanks for joining us, AP, as always, man. The fact that you take time. Look, I reached out to you and said, hey, AP, I think we should do a quick update. And you said, yeah, let's do it. That's what investors love about you, and can't wait to have you back, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you. And let's just say go Ravens. I started watching their games, and that quarterback, that name Lamar, he's pretty good, that guy.
He's all right, that guy. They might keep him.
I'd keep him. I'd love to have him as a hologram. Let's see what the future holds.
There's a little kernel being dropped again. Just a little nugget being dropped. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. You've been watching AP, the president CEO of ImagineAR. Make sure to follow us on podcasts on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform as well, in case you don't want to sit here and stare at our faces for 20 minutes. And for those new to the story, get the company's profile page in the Agoracom. There's a lot going on with the AR, but it's exciting, it's powerful. Just what Tim Cook said, you don't need to know anything else. Find out about who ImagineAR is, then hop over to the website and do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Happy Thanksgiving to all the Canadians. See you next time. Hey guys, the video's over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our YouTube channel so you never miss another great Agoracom small cap video.